we sort of set up how you set up a firm, how you employ people, some of the tax implications. Now, the big other issue with setting up firms is our friends at CME, who have a whole nice little fee policy bulletin to try and effectively prevent what they view as selling their rates. And so they call them arcades, but all their rules are set up to say, hey, this really a proprietary firm trade as opposed to someone who's really set up to sell rates. And so if you view what they're trying to do from that lens, maybe now 50% of it will make sense as opposed to none of it. But that's really what they're trying to prevent. So they will look at how are people getting compensated. They view if you're getting a K-1, they're worried about a firm within a firm, right? They're like, oh, you're getting the benefit of tax treatment and you're trading off their membership. So that's why what we're going to get into is they make it even harder and have more requirements on that. If they see you as a W-2 employee, their presumption is, all right, that's probably fine. They're trading for the firm, but they have other requirements. 1099, they're generally fine. 1099B, put aside that we don't necessarily think it's the best thing to be doing where you're trying to 1099 somebody and still pass through the 60/40. They view that as like a K1 because, again, they're thinking if you get the benefit of tax treatment, then you're effectively getting the benefit of having your own firm.
Yeah, go ahead. That we don't like the 1099B concept because we're afraid that the regulators would come in and say you're acting as an FCL.
So, all right. So the good news is, years ago, the CME changed their rules to reduce the amount of money you had to have in to get a K1. We'll start with K1. They used to be 500,000. They then sort of brought. I think the CME was 200, CBOT was 500. Everybody's at 250 now. So that means is to start, if you want to get a K1 and you're a trader, not the firm, and you want to get a piece of what you trade, we like to call those eat what you kill deals, you have to have at least $250,000 in capital. Now, that capital can be day one. It can be built up over time, but until it's built up where you have a $250,000 capital count, you're not, if you do that and you have a K1, you're not able to actually receive the tax treatment. Now, there are ways to sort of make people put money in and not have them get the tax treatment through guaranteed payments. That's a whole bunch of fancy stuff Phil and I do, but think about it. If you want the tax treatment, you got to have the 250. The other thing they just recently did is in order to become a member firm, it was expensive, right? You needed the 20,000 shares for the first, and then usually they give you the 10,000 if you went for each additional firm. Now they are letting you actually pay a fee to effectively lease those shares, which is brand new, and we've never seen that before. So obviously that's a new, at least good fact, because now you have an option, and you'll have to judge, basically the price of buying the stock plus what most of my clients do is want to collar that and hedge it out. So you look at the price of the stock plus the cost of your hedge versus effectively $7,500 a month, and you'll weigh the two.